Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps and I am joined now with Carl Froch. Gareth Davies always kind of making an appearance in our videos.
I'm Gareth A. Davies.
Oh, okay. We're here. We are here at the final press conference for Frampton versus Leo Santa Cruz. How do you see that fight going down?
I think it's going to be another barnstormer, as we say in Britain. It's going to be close. It's going to be exciting. But I just don't see Leo Santa Cruz winning this fight. I just think Carl Frampton, he improves in my eyes and in my assessment, in my humble opinion. He improves with every fight. He gets slightly better and better, learns a bit more. He has good camps. He's been here 4 weeks as well, so he's doing it correct. I want to say in Santa Cruz's favour, his dad's better now, which is fantastic now. He's in remission or he's in full recovery now, following on his cancer treatment, which is great news. So, you know, Santa Cruz following on from the cancer treatment, he'll be now in a better place mentally because they're a very tight, close family. All of them, they all get together in the camps, they all work together. So that would have been quite a detrimental impact in the first fight and a real negative bit of atmosphere. So he's got that behind him now. It's over here on the west coast, which is close to his house. So there's a couple of positives for him. So we may see a little bit of a busier. I mean, I don't know how it can be any busier. Both the fighters, they throw a lot of punches. They use a lot of energy. They're very fit. They're strong for 12 rounds. But I think Frampton's just got that little bit more skill. He's a little better counter puncher. But Cruz could make it easy for himself by using his range. He's so much taller, got such a longer reach, but doesn't seem to utilise it. So maybe, you know, there might be...
It's a bit of a habit because he's so used to fighting toe-to-toe, the typical Mexican style. I know that he's talking about, you know, fighting a bit smarter this time around. Do you think that he's capable of sort of turning off that initial instinct to want to fight toe-to-toe and fight smarter?
I think it'll be difficult for him to turn it off because he likes to fight. Like I say, he's got the Mexican inbred in him and they love to fight, as we've seen time and time again. But I think early on, if he comes in and he uses his jab and box and he has success early on, then he can use that to gather momentum throughout the fight. Ultimately, it's going to come down to them both standing in front of each other and exchanging blows and both landing shots. But if Santa Cruz can use his jab and use his range early on, then, you know, he could leave Frampton chasing it a little bit and get him struggling and rushing in and making a few mistakes. I think that's the way for Cruz to tackle this and approach this fight. You know, box and move, use his range, and then get the work going late on. But you just never know. I mean, he's a great fighter, high work rate, he's Mexican, he's got that fight in him, and he might just go out round one and try and take it to Frampton, and it could be a 12-round dogfight. We hope it is.
Do you think that Carl's going to win a lot more convincingly this time, considering that he's already been in the ring with him before? He sort of knows, you know, I guess knows how to navigate around what Leo brings. Do you see this being a little bit more, I guess, one-sided, or do you actually see it being another close fight?
No, it can go either way. I think the first fight is an advantage for both fighters because they both learn something, they both take something from it. They'll both be watching the tapes back on their performances and trying to learn something from that. But I don't think it's going to make any difference or give any of the fighters an advantage. Santa Cruz will look, he'll learn a bit, and then he might try something different, and then it's down to Frampton to adjust and adapt. But ultimately, you can have plan A, B and C right through to Z. What happens on the night is how you evolve. Every action causes a reaction, so depending on what one fighter does, the other fighter has to try and adapt to counter. I think Leo Santa Cruz can try and not take control, because it sounds like he can just outclass Frampton, which he obviously can't, but he can be in a bit more of a comfortable control early on. If he uses the reach, which we've talked about, if he can just get behind that jab and use his range and move his feet more, move his head a bit and get behind that long jab, boxing is so much easier. I had a big advantage because I'm taller, but I've got long arms. My arms are down to my knees. I've got real long reach. And when I used my reach when I boxed, which I didn't do very often, I found it quite easy. That's why I won a medal in the World Championships. I won 3 ABA titles, 3 national titles as an amateur. Because of my range, I'm not the most skillful fighter, but range is such a big advantage. So Santa Cruz realises now and gets behind his jab and uses his range. I think we've done full circle, but I just think he needs to box and move, or he's got zero chance of winning this fight.
Lee Selby is also fighting on the undercard, and there's talks about a possible unification fight between the two. Can I ask how you see that fight going, should it happen?
I think we're talking about Selby and Frampton. I think that's a great fight. I think it's really interesting. Lee Selby, a lot of people have not seen much of him. He's IBF champion. is very, very skillful. His younger brother Andrew Selby and Lee, actually, I spent a lot of time with his younger brother Andrew, and I call him a little magician in the ring. He's like a box of tricks. You watch him fight and he does moves, switches stance, throws uppercuts, hooks, works the body, moves his head, does a little shuffle, comes in and back out, and you think to yourself, wow, I've never seen that before. And that's Lee Selby's brother, and they're very similar. So anyone who's not seen Lee Selby before, watch this fighter. He's special, he's different, he's a very tricky tactician, and I think he wins this fight Saturday night. And a fight with him and Frampton is interesting, and I think I really cannot pick a winner, because it just depends if Frampton can get close to Selby and get inside that long reach and outwork him. But Selby's too good and too tricky to allow somebody to just come forward and dominate. So that's a fight we want to see on UK soil after this one.
I think it's 50-50.
I think it is, yeah. It's difficult to pick a winner for that.
Yeah. Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking right here.